Well, it's official, Heat fans. Jimmy Butler is ruled out of Friday's play-in game against the Chicago Bulls, and he has officially been diagnosed with an MCL sprain and will be out several weeks. That is what the Heat announced, and Barry Jackson kind of followed up and said several weeks. Obviously, we had the Shams Charania report as well as the Adrian Wojnarowski report, but I did not want to come out here and make a video on Jimmy Butler's injury without it being official, and I didn't want to run with the speculation, but it is now completely official. Jimmy Butler has a MCL sprain and is out multiple weeks. So if the Heat win on Friday, he will likely miss the first round series against the Boston Celtics unless it goes to 7. Maybe he could return in Game 7. And if they were to somehow complete the miracle upset of the century, he would be ready to go for the second round in all likelihood. But that is not our concern and focus right now. I am Nic Rohloff. This is the Heat Report. If you haven't already, hit that sub button because we're going to have you covered on the latest surrounding the Miami Heat, including the latest injury news, rumors, and we're going to be live again for the game on Friday against the Chicago Bulls. I know a lot of people are down on the Heat right now, but I'm still going to be live. I'm still going to be optimistic. I'm still going to be rooting for a victory so we can at least have a playoff series this season because listen, that's the goal of every year, right, is to make the playoffs and maybe create some noise. You never know what can happen. All right, let's talk about Jimmy now because it was clear and obvious that he just was not himself yesterday after that first quarter when he sustained the injury super late in the first period. He was playing well. He had 4 steals in the first half. And I just respect Jimmy because he gave it his all, man. He knew that he had a knee injury. He knew that knee was not going to be fully healthy going forward, and he gave it his all and played 40 damn minutes to try to secure a playoff spot for Miami. Unfortunately, the Heat just came up short, and if you were with us on our watch party last night, you would have heard me say that why isn't Jimmy getting the ball in the fourth quarter? Why isn't he being the main focal point of the offense? Why are we running everything through Tyler Herro? Well, the reason is because Jimmy's knee was stiffening up on him, and he simply just could not give it his all in order to will this team to a victory at the end of the fourth quarter. So it had to rely on Tyler Herro, and ultimately Miami fell short 105 to 104. So the Heat officially announced it. It's a right MCL sprain. It could have been a lot worse. It's not a tear. It's not an ACL injury, so Jimmy Butler will be healthy long term, which is, I think, the best positive news you could have got because you basically knew he was going to miss Friday's game and likely the first playoff series as well. So I'll be taking the MCL sprain as it is, and hey, who knows? He go on a run, somehow upset the Boston Celtics. He could be ready for the second round or the Eastern Conference Finals. The more shocking news to me, though, is Terry Rozier with a neck injury has already been ruled out for tomorrow's play-in game. This, to me, is just a stunner, and I don't really know what happened with Rozier. He hurt his neck. He was questionable for the game against the Pacers on Sunday. He ultimately plays in that game, only plays about 20 minutes, didn't play basically the entire second half, and then in the postgame said, yeah, I probably shouldn't have played. We just really wanted to get out there and play, and I'm going to take some time off. But then now he's out for, it's going to be 6 straight games. It's basically going to be 2 weeks because the last game he played was that Sunday game against the Pacers. And the part that is the most confusing to me is that he was questionable for a week ago against the Toronto Raptors on that Friday night game. He was questionable on a game-time decision. And the Heat held him out for that game and then held him out on Sunday. And I was like, okay, they're just being cautious with him and holding him to be fully healthy for the play-in games and the playoffs. But then he's going to miss both play-in games. Like, how serious is this neck injury? I feel like we are not being told the whole story with Terry Rozier, because if it's just neck stiffness and neck soreness, I feel like 2 weeks, a week and a half, and getting treatment around the clock, I think he would have been ready by now, but ultimately he is not, and the Heat are going to be without 2 of their top scorers in Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier, which means that if the Heat have any aspirations to continue this season and advance to the NBA playoffs, it's going to be squarely on the shoulders of Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo to get the win at home on Friday night against the Chicago Bulls. Before we move forward in today's game, I want to do 2 things. I want to tell you about our sponsor, but 2, I want you to spam your 22s. Give me the 22s for Jimmy Butler down in the comment section. Show him all the love that he deserves. He played 40 minutes on a sprained MCL last night for Miami. Spam the 22s down below. But first, before we move on to my keys to victory and preview the Chicago Bulls game, we are sponsored by Prize Picks. Get started today with code CLNS when you download the app in your local app store, or go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get a first deposit match up to $100. Playing Heat could be playing their last game. Don't miss out. If you're not in Florida, get started today. Prize Picks, 2 or more player stat projections. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Make watching these play-in and playoff basketball games so much more fun. You can join me. I make picks every single day. You can go to the community plays and the promos tab and see what Sugar Sean O'Malley got out there, Meek Mill. They got a bunch of fun things to play. Taco Tuesday on Tuesdays, Demon and Goblins. They have a bunch of fun things for new users and returning users alike. So get started today. One more time, download the app and use code CLNS, or go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. All right, let's jump into a preview here of the Friday night game against the Chicago Bulls, because, well, they actually have some injury issues of their own, that they're going to be missing some key players as well. Alex Caruso suffered a foot sprain in their game on Wednesday, so he is questionable, and there is a significant doubt, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, that he is going to be able to play. So Caruso, the best defender on the Chicago Bulls, who likely would have been stuck defending Jimmy Butler, very well might not play in this game. Obviously, they do not have Zach LaVine. He was announced out for the year a while ago. Lonzo Ball's missed the entire year. Patrick Williams was announced out for the year as well. And then questionable as well as Caruso is Ayo Dosunmu and Andre Drummond. So the Bulls are not the most healthy team in the league, that's for sure. I think Caruso ends up not playing. I would expect Andre Drummond and Ayo Dosunmu to play for Chicago. So those are the injury reports for the Bulls. But I do have some keys to victory here. I got 4 things that I want to talk about when it comes to the Miami Heat and what they have to do in order to win this game against the Chicago Bulls and set up a playoff series against the Boston Celtics in the first round. I think number 1, and I think it's the most obvious, since you have no Jimmy, no Rozier, you're going to need Tyler Herro to step up, and he's going to have to be more efficient. Shot 9 of 27 on Wednesday against the Philadelphia 76ers. That is unacceptable. I mean, I appreciate Herro taking charge in the fourth quarter, because he did have 15 or 16 of his 25 points in that final 12 minutes, but he needs to get off to a better start and be more efficient. He hit some big shots in the fourth. Yes, ultimately took that bad shot down 3 where it got blocked by Nick Batum. I didn't like that shot whatsoever. And then he had the meaningless 3 at the end of the game in the corner to make it a 1-point game. So it was a 1-point loss instead of a 4-point loss. But if you want to win this ball game, you need Tyler Herro, who is likely going to take the most shots for Miami in this game and likely going to be the focal point of the offense. He needs to have a better game. He needs to play as well as Kobe White or outplay Kobe White if Miami wants to win this game. Kobe White is coming off a 42-point performance. He's been on fire in the second half of the year for Chicago. You need Herro to be the better guard in that matchup. I said that the Heat are likely going to run the offense through Tyler Herro, but I think my second key to victory here is to go through Bam Adebayo. He only took 9 shots on Wednesday against Philly, went 5 for 9, had 10 points, didn't even get to the line once, 12 boards, was hindered with foul trouble early, but he needs to just be more aggressive. And if you're going to be a max player and an all-NBA center, which I anticipate him being on one of those 3 all-NBA teams, especially since Joel Embiid doesn't qualify, Bam needs to be a dominating force in this game on Friday. And this is a favorable matchup for Bam. Nikola Vucevic is the center for the Bulls. Obviously, they have Andre Drummond coming off the bench, but those 2 guys are not good defenders. And Bam should be able to use his quickness, his strength, his athleticism to get whatever shot he wants on Nikola Vucevic. And I think if you want to advance into the postseason and play the Boston Celtics, Bam should be taking 20 shots in this game. And I would expect Bam and Adebayo to have a 25-point game and 10 rebounds. Like that's what I think I would expect. A lot of pick and rolls between Herro and Bam too. Getting Bam in that short roll, little pick and pop action at the free throw line, or he could pump fake, get Vucevic in the air, draw a foul, or pump fake, jab step, drive to the rim. Like Bam is the significantly more athletic center. He's the significantly better center in this matchup. And I don't think Chicago really has anyone that can guard him in this game. So Bam, you need to be the number 1 guy on this offense. 2 more keys to victory to get to. But what is your biggest key to victory in this ball game? Let me know down in the comments section what you think Miami needs to do in order to win against Chicago at home. They are 1.5 point favorites, by the way. So even with Jimmy Butler out, as the odds makers anticipated that, they are still favorites, which actually caught me by surprise. Number 3, I think you sick Haywood Highsmith on Coby White. Is Haywood Highsmith going to start? Probably not. They'll likely go with a starting group of Herro, Caleb Martin, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Jovic, and Bam Adebayo, which honestly is a very fun starting lineup to watch in a big-time game. Might be the last hurrah for that young core because we might see seismic changes in the offseason. But it would be fun to see those 5 guys play together potentially in the starting lineup. But Haywood would be the first guy off the bench, and maybe Spo does start Haywood Highsmith in place of Jimmy Butler and keeps Jaime Jaquez Jr. off the bench as the 6th man. I think that's very possible, but Haywood, 6'5", with a 7-foot wingspan. He is an excellent defender, and I think you just get length on Coby White, you get physicality on Coby White, and you limit his ability to get to the rim because I know a lot of people just look at him and think of a 3-point shooting guard, but he has made excellent strides in the second half of this year of getting to the rack and finishing. I've seen a couple Chicago Bulls games, and I've been very impressed with Coby White's been bringing to the table. Him and DeMar DeRozan have been a fantastic offensive duo in these games that Chicago have been able to pull out in the second half of the year to ensure them getting the 9 seed. And I get it. You could say, well, Haywood Highsmith's our best defender. We should put him on DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, that's possible as well, but I would probably go with the rotation of Triple J and Caleb Martin on DeMar DeRozan, put those 2 on DeMar, and then let Highsmith's physicality and length really disrupt Coby White in the backcourt because DeRozan's going to get his in the mid-range and get to the free throw line, get probably 24, 25 points. That's going to happen even if Highsmith's defending him because he's just too good as a veteran and too crafty, right? But if you can really hound Coby White and limit his ability to score from the perimeter, then I think you have a really good chance to hold down this Chicago Bulls offense that is still without a Zach LaVine, a Patrick Williams, and potentially without Alex Caruso. So to me, sticking Haywood Highsmith on Coby White is the best way to limit this Bulls offense. And the final key to victory for me is to convert on your transition opportunities. Listen, the Heat wouldn't even have to play this game tomorrow if they just were a normal basketball team that could run the transition and get out and fast break and score. They caused so many turnovers. They had 9 steals in the first half. They had probably opportunity to score at least 16 to 20 more points in this game on 3-on-2s, 3-on-1, 4-on-2s, just transition, getting out with the Sixers undermanned on defense, and the Heat's transition offense was horrific. I mean, they had poor spacing, they had poor shot selection, they had poor shot making in these situations, and it cost Miami at least double-digit points. Like, we could say 15 to 20 points, but it is no doubt double-digit points that Miami cost themselves by being a bad transition team yesterday. And if they were just an average transition team, they probably win against the Sixers by 5 or 6 points, or even more, to be honest. So, that's the number one thing. If you turn the Bulls over to me, you have to convert those opportunities, especially without Jimmy Butler. You are undermanned with no Rozier as well. When you get out in transition off your defense, get to the rim, finish, don't take bad shots. Let's get it done. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know who you got. If you think Miami's going to win, type MIA. If you think Chicago's going to win, type CHI. Either way, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we're going to keep you updated on everything surrounding the Miami Heat, as well as be live for this game. Smitty and I are going to run it back. It's going to be a fun live stream, potentially our last of the season. Hopefully not, though. So join us at the Heat Report tomorrow for our Bulls versus Heat play-in watch party for the right to play the Boston Celtics in the first round.